Happy Wednesday, everyone. Have you ever reflected on the significance of this day in the middle of the week? Perhaps now more than ever, we should appreciate this special day so that we can look forward to the weekend. We're celebrating tonight by having a date night, hence the flickering candle behind us. I think recognising the importance of Wednesday might help sustain your sense of a weekly rhythm, which can help you feel slightly less lost in time during this season of social isolation. Have you ever climbed a tall hill or mountain? I once carried my daughter Hannah to the top of a mountain called Mount Brandon, which lies within the beautiful scenic Ring of Kerry in Ireland. The climb was long and hard at times, but all the way up the mountain are tall crosses which lead to a huge cross at the top and the most breathtaking views over the Irish coastline and off into the distant horizon. The climb was so worthwhile, and I know I must have appreciated how much easier the climb down was compared to the climb up. Climbing to the top of a mountain can give us a midpoint perspective on a journey, a bit like this day in the middle of our week. And we are going to reflect tonight on how worthwhile it might be to look to the distant horizon and plan for the future beyond this time of social isolation, knowing that at some point life will return to normal again. But before we read Luke chapter 14, a question, not about a high place, but actually the opposite. Are you choosing the lowest place? Over to you, Anna.
Thank you. Reading from Luke 14. One Sabbath, when Jesus went to eat in the house of a prominent Pharisee, he was being carefully watched. There in front of him was a man suffering from abnormal swelling of his body. Jesus asked the Pharisees and experts in the law, "Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath or not?" But they remained silent. So taking hold of the man, he healed him and sent him on his way. Then he asked them, "If one of you has a child or an ox that falls into a well on the Sabbath day, will you not immediately pull him out?" And they had nothing to say. When he noticed how the guests picked the places of honour at the table, he told them this parable. When someone invites you to a wedding feast, do not take the place of honour, for a person more distinguished than you may well have been invited. If so, the host who invited both of you will come and say to you, "Give this person your seat." Then, humiliated, you will have to take the least important place. But when you are invited, take the lowest place, so that when your host comes, he will say to you, "Friend, move up to a better place." Then you will be honoured in the presence of all the other guests. For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Then Jesus said to his host, "When you give a luncheon or dinner, do not invite your friends, your brothers or sisters, your relatives or your rich neighbours. If you do, they may invite you back, and so you will be repaid. But when you give a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed. Although they cannot repay you, you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous." When one of those at the table with him heard this, he said to Jesus, "Blessed are those who will eat at the feast in the kingdom of God." Jesus replied, "A certain man was preparing a great banquet and invited many guests. At the time of the banquet, he sent his servant to tell those who had been invited, Come, for everything is now ready." But they all alike began to make excuses. The first said, "I have just bought a field and I must go and see it. Please excuse me." Another said, "I have just bought 5 yoke of oxen and am on my way to try them out. Please excuse me." Still another said, "I have just got married, so I can't come." The servant came back and reported this to his master. Then the owner of the house became angry and ordered his servant, "Go out quickly into the streets and alleys of the town and bring in the poor, the crippled, the blind and the lame." "Sir," the servant said, "what you ordered has been done, but there is still room." Then the master told his servant, "Go out to the roads and country lanes and compel them to come in, so that my house will be full. I tell you, not one of those who were invited will get a taste of my banquet." Large crowds were travelling with Jesus, and turning to them he said, "If anyone comes to me and does not hate father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yet even life itself, such a person cannot be my disciple. And whoever does not carry their cross and follow me cannot be my disciple. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? But if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, 'This person began to build and wasn't able to finish.' Or suppose a king is about to go to war against another king. Won't you first sit down and consider whether he is able with 10,000 men to oppose the one coming against him with 20,000? If he is not able, he will send a delegation, while the other is still a long way off, and will ask for terms of peace. In the same way, those of you who do not give up everything you have cannot be my disciples. Salt is good, but if it loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is fit neither for the soil nor for the manure heap. It is thrown out. Whoever has ears to hear, let them hear."
Whoever has ears to hear, let them hear. What a great line from Jesus. Have you ever wondered whether you have ears to hear? Not just in a literal sense, but more so in a spiritual sense. As we read through Luke's Gospel together, are you hearing new things from his living word? It's a good challenge for all of us. Another challenge from this passage is around whether we are choosing the highest place or the lowest place in life. In what ways might we prioritize ourselves over others when we could actually help more around the house? Could you make meals for everyone or go above and beyond in making sure your family are blessed during this challenging time? It might be too much of a challenge to think about blessing people outside your home at the moment, but Anna has a good idea for us to try out.
I saw a great idea recently on Facebook, a jar of future plans. During this time of lockdown, every time you think of something you can't do at the moment because of the restrictions, write it down on a piece of paper and put it in a jar. Perhaps you could also think of things that you could do to bless others that you can't do at the moment. Then, when this is all over, take out the things from the jar one at a time and do them. I'm going to give this a go. I think it will help me to be more grateful for what I have.
Another idea could be sticking post-it notes up in your room of things that you could do for other people. You could even put someone else's need on the main side, then put one of your own needs on the other side, so that once you bless someone else, you can then prioritize yourself. So that question again, are you taking the lowest place?
Thanks for watching, guys. See you again tomorrow.
God bless you all.
Bye.